Hello, welcome back to Dental Dork. In today's video, I had the opportunity to interview Sarah. Sarah lives in Middle Europe, and in this video, she shares with us her journey to a headache-free life. Since 18 years old, she has experienced a level of headaches, but they progressively got worse with time and throughout her pregnancies. Through years of research, at-home dental splints, upper spinal adjustments, and finally her AGGA and controlled arch braces treatment, Sarah walks us through her journey to pain relief. If you or someone you know has had an experience with TMJ, head, neck, body aches, and is willing to share their story, please contact me. I will leave my contact information in the description below. All right, so do you want to jump in and tell us your story? Like what got you into AGGA and controlled arch, or, where did your journey begin?
It started really early, actually, because as long as I can remember, I had headaches. Almost every day I had headaches and nobody could find out why. So the doctor gave us such I should write a diary, a migraine diary, to see if there's a connection with something, but nobody really found out what was wrong with me. I just had these headaches, and especially when something exciting was going on, or we were traveling to our grandparents, or something more was happening than usual, then I would react with migraines.
No way.
And nobody knew why.
What was the pain? Like, what was the most amount of pain on a scale of 1 to 10 that you experienced with that? Would it hospitalize you?
No. I never was in hospital because of that, but I couldn't function well. I just would go somewhere and rest and wait until it was over. And yeah.
How long would it last?
Usually it would build up over the day. It would spike or peak in the evening, late evening, and in the next morning I would still feel a little bit, but it was then it was better. So sometimes I would just sit up and wait into the night until it would be better, and then lay down and sleep because I couldn't sleep.
Man, that's awful. Did you use dark rooms? Did you go to dark rooms, hit the lights off, that kind of thing?
So much. Usually when I would throw up, and then it was better already. So this.
Okay, that's horrible, but yeah. Okay, so crippling migraines to like ruin the day and the event that was ongoing.
Yeah, and it was when I was a kid. I had more headaches, but it was not, most of the time it was not so severe that I had to throw up. Later, when I maybe starting from 18, it was not so frequent, maybe once a month or different time periods without headaches between, but then it was really bad when I got it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, about like when I was 18, I started that my teeth on the one side would start hurting, and the gums were receding just on 1-2 teeth. And no dentist knew what to do. They just recommended brushing and the usual stuff, and it didn't help, of course.
Right.
It was ridiculous because they especially, I don't know, but I think especially German dentists, German doctors especially, they tend to be like, yeah. And what they said it was, you're not brushing well, like this, like, and I was like, yeah.
How defeating of a feeling that is.
Yeah, and they don't help you because they don't know, they don't understand the problem. Yeah. So I started researching, and I started researching for years and trying to figure out my problem on my own. And I did a lot of searching on the internet, and I found out it must be some TMJ related problem. And so I tried out different things. I tried out the Aqualizer. I came across the Aqualizer, this splint, the water splint that you can put in, and I found it really helped. And I found that my body was crooked, so one shoulder was higher than the other, and my head was not straight on my head, and one of my hips was higher than the other, and I started get other problems. Of course, I started get tensions, especially on the right side of my body. My knee was hurting, my hip was hurting, my elbow was hurting, and of course I had tensions all the time, more or less in this area. So I tried different things, and the equalizer was really a good tip that I got somewhere on the internet.
How long did you wear it 24/7?
No, no.
Go ahead.
At night especially, because night was worst. At night I would clench my teeth. I found that out because my chewing muscles were just stone hard and painful when I would touch them or massage them. So I figured out I was clenching at night, and it got especially bad when I was pregnant and in the postpartum period. Without being pregnant or postpartum, it was okay, but postpartum was horrible, and it got worse with every child. I don't know why, but it got worse and I have 9 babies now, so I thought and it started early, so I think with baby 2 or so, so I figured I had to find out a solution. When I was postpartum with my 5th, I crushed one of my teeth because the teeth was not it had a cavity, but it was intact otherwise. But one night I woke up with a sharp pain, and I had just crushed the tooth because I was clenching so hard.
Wow. Okay, so how long were you in? It's an equalizer? Equalizer?
Yeah, I didn't get along too well with the equalizer, especially in the end, because my teeth were so sensitive from the clenching that I couldn't even bear the equalizer. But I used it off and on when it was bad, when I couldn't. But I tried to somehow find something to relieve my tensions and my pain. And then I would put it to the side as soon as it was a little bit better. So yeah, I had
it like a little tiny crutch just to help out with getting through those symptoms.
Yes. And in the end, I couldn't bear the equalizer anymore, and I crafted my own splint. I researched splints that don't touch or need the back teeth, only the front, and there I really found one that only sits here, and I looked into it, how it's working, and then I made one myself. Because it was so expensive, and I thought until I find a dentist that makes one for me, and chances are that it doesn't fit well, and you never know. And so I thought I'd try out myself, and I make something that I can have in my mouth at night, so my teeth don't clench.
Yeah. How'd that work out for you? Did you have?
Yeah, it worked well, actually.
Okay. So how long did you use that for?
Not so long, because I already had found the dentist that did my treatment. Okay. And so maybe a year. Okay. I bridged about a year, I think. And then I found out that my conclusion was that my atlas, the first vertebra, was out of place. Yeah. And that's because and that was the reason for my body being like crooked. So I had my atlas corrected with a treatment. I researched treatments, and I found that one that I thought was the best. So I did that, and after that, my body was straight, but the bite problem intensified, because the atlas was just the reaction to the bad bite, and now the atlas was correct, and now the bite was even worse. But I had my splint that I made myself, and with that I bridged the time until I started AGGA.
This is incredible. I mean, it's so interesting talking with so many people, because it really is a full body. I mean, it's so mind it's challenging to wrap your mind around the fact that something as simple as your bite being off can affect the whole rest of your body. But time and time again, story after story, I'm finding that this is just the truth of the matter. And it's whether it starts here or it starts somewhere else and there's a ripple effect, that bite is going to be an important part of the completion of treatment for somebody. I mean, it really is a key component. And it's incredibly challenging to figure out. I mean, look at the amount of research that you had to do by yourself. You couldn't just go to a standard medical doctor and then say, oh, you need to consider this, at least, even consider it. So that's incredible. I give you so much credit for being able to figure that out and do all the research and search it out. I mean, it's a lot of time, like you said, years really to do that. Wow, that's amazing. So what kind of Atlas treatment was it? Did you seek a chiropractor? Did you seek, a physical therapist? What was the treatment or person?
It was a special, it was called Atlantotech then, now it's called Atlantomed. It's from Switzerland and they use a special stick that's vibrating and it relaxes the muscles. And then with vibration, they push the atlas in the right place.
Yeah. Okay. And I've had an experience like that too. In the States, I believe they call it like an upper cervical chiropractor. And he used that same thing. And he would adjust my top 2 vertebrae with this little gun that had like a vibrating end on it. Is that?
Yeah. It sounds similar.
Yeah. Okay. I've had that too. Wow. That's amazing. Did you notice a difference? So you did notice a difference immediately, or did it take a couple of sessions, or what did that look like?
Just one.
One session.
And that's was the difference to many other treatments for the atlas. But it was logical for me. If you really correct the atlas in its posture, then why do you need more sessions? It should be corrected and then it is corrected and not corrected every month or 2 months or whatever.
Okay, I love it. Okay, so that worked for you. And then you found your provider shortly after that, about a year?
I had already found the provider, but first I wanted to fix my teeth because I had this dead wisdom teeth from crushing the tooth, and I wanted to have my mouth in a condition that could start treatment. So I did some things before, and but I already knew where I would go, and I went there 1 month after having my atlas corrected.
1 month.
And,
okay.
Yeah.
So just through research, you discovered AGGA and controlled arch and that system and that protocol. Did you look into any other kind of expansion, or what made you decide this is the treatment I want and I'm going to go with this option?
There were not so many options here. There was somebody who told me about the doctor that I went to then, that did the treatment. And he had also the, what is it called? The DNA and others. But I researched it and I found that what I need is the AGGA and not the DNA, because the DNA, I would have preferred something that was not fixed in the mouth, but it seemed like the AGGA was the thing that really did the change that I needed, and it didn't take so much time like the DNA, for example.
Yeah.
And it was also what this LVI dentist recommended to me when I went there.
So it was an LVI dentist that you saw. Do you mind sharing his name with us?
Dr. Smith. It's the only one in Middle Europe. So in Germany, there's only one. Wow. I was lucky that it's rather close to me. So there are others that travel to him like 5 hours or so, and he's only 1.5 hours away from me.
Wow. How lucky is that for you?
That's lucky. Because before we lived in Sweden, and I also researched the topic in Sweden, but there was nobody who did that, who could do the treatment. So
interesting.
But later we moved, and I was lucky.
Wow, Dr. Smith in Middle Europe. He's one of the only LVI dentists in
Heidelberg.
That's incredible. Okay, Excellent. Let's see. So what year was it that you started with him?
It was 2019.
Okay. All right, tell us. What were your thoughts on him? How did that start?
Yeah, the first appointment was just to figure out what's the problem and what do we do about it. And it was, yeah, he did X-rays and looked at the teeth and measured what they usually measure.
Yep.
And I think we started really soon. So he had to scan the teeth and send it in, and it's coming from the United States. So we had to wait until the AGGA was made and shipped. And I got spacers in, and the first appointment, my teeth are so tight, were so tight that he couldn't, even though I had worn spacers for quite a long time, he couldn't get the appliance in. So we waited another, I don't know, 2 weeks, and yeah, somehow we got it in. But I already got the molar pads. And I hated and loved them at the same time because the clenching stopped immediately with the molar pads. But I couldn't really eat anything.
It's definitely an experience. So before you got the AGGA, he had immediately placed the occlusal pads, the molar pads.
Yeah. In the session where I should have gotten the AGGA in and it didn't go in, he put at least the molar pads, and the next appointment, the AGGA came in.
So that kind of acted like a splint for you. So you never actually had a splint prior to AGGA that was provided to you by Dr. Smith.
No, I didn't have a professional splint, only my own.
Yeah, so you kind of did that by yourself, and then you went right into molar pads, which opens you up really and does kind of act like a fixed splint in your mouth. Yeah. Okay, and you found immediate relief with that, which is awesome. Yes. Well, immediate relief with the struggle of consuming food.
Yeah, eating was not fun. But I taught myself to bring the molar pads in the best shape. I had this nail polish machine, and I used it to file my molar pads until they were perfect.
Really? So you did your own adjustments on your. Oh my gosh. Oh my word. I don't recommend doing that, but that's crazy funny. Wow. You're lucky that.
I just looked at how he did it, and then some blue paper, and then you can see where the contacts are, and then it's better than suffering. And I always have to drive an hour and a half. I can't always come back before, and even sitting in the dentist chair and checking for contacts, you don't always find these contacts because you sit like this, and then everything is fine, and then you go and you chew and oh no, there's still something.
Yeah, it feels off. Yeah, you're totally right. Adjustments are so crucial. Wow. Okay, so you had molar pads. Eventually you got the AGGA in.
Yes.
How was that experience? What was your first day and first week after the AGGA was put in? Were you like, why did I do this? Or were you like, this is great? What was your initial take on the experience of wearing the AGGA?
I had read a lot experiences, so I knew what would be coming. And so I stuffed myself with what's it called? Wax?
Yeah.
In the beginning, so lots of wax. I read everywhere, lots of wax. Don't even try. So I put on lots of wax, and that was okay. So
what about eating?
Yeah, the worst thing were the pads, but the AGGA was not so bothering. Just sometimes something would got stuck would got stuck under the pad up there. And then one or two times it got inflamed, and I had a hard time getting it out again. Yeah. So I used this nasal spray that makes if you also have a stuffed nose, then it opens up. Because it was so swollen and I couldn't get this food out there that was irritating my gums. I used the spray to get the swelling away and to get the food out. It was difficult, but yeah.
So you basically use like do you have a water pick? It kind of works in a similar way.
Yes. I bought a water pick to clean everything every day, but still some things like dates are very not good. They got stuck easily.
Yeah, there are certainly foods that I find myself avoiding even now, just because it's so challenging to clean it out afterward. Yeah, totally. All right, so lots of wax.
There were some painful moments.
Yeah, it's definitely a learning curve for sure.
Yeah. But I think the worst was in the beginning. These spacers. They were in the beginning. They were. So I already, after the first spacers, later there also come spacers again. I knew, okay, the first day I would not be able to chew anything, just liquids and soft foods. Yeah,
you have to know that going into it, that you're not going to be able to maintain your diet. Yeah.
So I was so happy when I could eat steak again or something like meat.
Yeah. Solid. Okay, so how long were you in the AGGA for?
6 months.
Okay. And how many millimeters of growth did you achieve?
Oh, it's quite some time ago.
I know, 2019.
4.5 centimeters or something like that.
Okay, so 4 to 5.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. And did you experience any loose teeth, or were you ever concerned about those front teeth falling out?
Not about those.
No.
Later in the controlled arch, there was this one tooth still that got pulled out too far to get another tooth that was twisted in, and there the gums receded, and I'm not. I think it feels firm again now, but I still avoid chewing on this teeth. But I never had concerns with those teeth up there.
Never on the top. Okay.
Never. They were just sensitive the first 2-3 days after adjustment, but then it was fine.
Okay, so 2019, 6 months into the AGGA, when did you get into controlled arch?
After that.
What year was that? Was it still 2019?
Yeah, 20.
Oh, 2020.
2020. Yeah.
Okay. Controlled arch braces.
I got into AGGA in July or August. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, because it was and I got into controlled arch in February, I think.
Okay. Wow. So right as the pandemic was hitting.
Yeah, but my dentist is quite cool, so.
Awesome. Love to hear that. That's great. Okay, so then when did you get out of controlled arch?
Wait. It was a year earlier. No, 2000. I'm wrong. 2019, I had my twins. And in February 19, I got into controlled arch. So it was 18. I was wrong. It was already 18. Yeah.
So 2018, you got the AGGA.
Yes.
And then 2019, you got controlled arch.
Yeah.
Wow. This is a long time ago. This is awesome. I don't think I've met somebody that's been out of it for that long. So that's awesome. Okay. So February of 2019, you got into controlled arch braces.
Yeah. And I was I got it out last year in September, I think. Yeah, must be September, October. It was what is some around my birthday. I think it was before my 14th birthday or after. I don't know. My birthday is 1st October, and it was around this time.
Okay, awesome. Did you have what was your experience with controlled arch? Did they move the molars forward just fine? How did your bite feel? And did you ever have any headache experience return?
When the molar pads were not sitting well, then I had some headache return. Or one time he put a power chain up here, and I felt like it was pulling my upper teeth back, and that gave me headaches, and it was a strange feeling. But then I asked him if I can just take it out, and I took it out, and it was fine again. So usually I fixed my problems quite fast.
Readily, yeah.
Mm.
Okay, so when you took the power chain out, was that when they were protracting the premolars or the molars, or when did you feel like those front teeth were getting a retraction?
It was just from the power chain that pulled the teeth back, and I got the power chain. There are some always change the wire into a more hard one.
Yes.
And I think in this I can't really remember, because then they pull the back teeth forward, and and you get the softer wire again, and then there were so many steps that I don't really remember which one it was where I felt like it's pulling everything back.
Yeah.
And I took it out. I did some things myself when I felt like, or one time I felt like one tooth is going backwards again. So I still had this power chain. I take it out. So I took a little bit of the power chain and just
put it
in to pull the tooth forward again. And
you make me laugh. That's so funny. Okay. Yeah. So I can relate to that. When they put a harder wire on, in my experience, when they put a harder wire on and do a power chain all at the same time, it is a lot. And I felt, I can feel, I have felt definitely tension back in my muscles, in my jaw muscles.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't really last too long for me. So I kind of just hang in there, and then it kind of goes away. Yeah. So
sometimes I had headaches return but also go again. So it's just when the jar is adjusting, and it's like a bumpy ride sometimes.
Okay. Yeah. That was my experience too. I think people want to know or think that once you get into treatment and you're in treatment, you're past that like triage stage of getting rid of all of the really challenging symptoms in the very beginning, kind of like what you did with your splint. You were like, okay, I achieved some relief by wearing a splint. And then you got, most of all of your chronic headaches gone with the bite pads, it sounds. But yeah, it's not like, okay, we're good, we're saved, it's all done. It's just like, this is the beginning.
I think two things were challenging with the bite and with the returning of headaches. It was when the back teeth were pulled forward, because it changed the contact to the lower teeth, and then when the bite plates came out, this was also challenging, because the teeth had to come together by themselves again, and I felt that this was also a period where everything was like
figuring it out.
Yeah.
So by the end of treatment, once your molars were forward and your teeth were closed, you were back into contact. So toward the end of treatment, when everything started finally coming together, was there an adjustment period of time there too, or was your body like, whew, feels good?
I still had to have adjustments, because I have inlays from when I was 16. I got them when I was 16, and they were never adjusted well. And I think they were part of the problem, and they were too high in some places. And so I didn't, it still felt quite off. So he had to file in these inlays, and now it's almost perfect. There's still one contact here that I feel is a little bit too much, and this tooth gets painful from time to time, because but otherwise I can close my jaw, and almost all teeth have contact. And this is great, because I never had this experience before.
Yeah, to be able to have your teeth touch in most places. I mean, it's amazing. Your body wants to have those areas touch. So if they don't, it's like a chronic searching and like firing of all these muscles in times of what's supposed to be rest, and it's not restful.
But another great thing, what was just at the beginning, after 4 months of AGGA, one night I woke up and I my English was thinking, or my tongue was in my roof. It never was before. It was always laying down there between my teeth, because there was no space up there. And suddenly I thought, my tongue is up there. This feels really great. I had always tried to do this mewing. I don't know if you have read about mewing, and I never could, because my tongue was just too large to fit into up there. And suddenly my tongue was just there without
Amazing.
without trying to squeeze it up there. Somehow it was just there. That
That's
was
awesome.
cool.
All right, my battery is going to die. Give me 2 seconds. Let me grab my charger, but I want to get into that. I want to talk about functional therapy and what you knew about it and what you learned about it and how you applied it. So give me 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so did you, before you meet Dr. Smith, right? That was his name. Before you met Dr. Smith, did you research myofunctional therapy and know about mewing and Dr. Mewes, or did he introduce the concept of functional therapy like nasal breathing, tongue on the roof of your mouth, lips together, or what was your knowledge on that?
I had researched it before because of my problems and my research that I did because of it. But as I said, it didn't work for me because I could not mew. I could not put the tongue in my roof just like that. It would not, my tongue was just too large, hanging over, and it didn't work. So I thought I need this treatment because if my tongue would have fit, I could have done this, but I couldn't. So I thought I need this treatment to being able to do this.
Yeah, that's awesome that you were able to kind of conclude to that I think a lot of people do try to do functional therapy and they get discouraged because they physically can't fit their tongue on the roof of their mouth, which is a very true component to this in some cases, which it wasn't yours. Did Dr. Smith talk about it with you as well after you got into treatment with him? He did. And did he do?
Yeah, he's looking at things like tongue tie and stuff.
Okay. Did you have a tongue tie?
Not one that was constricting anything.
Okay, not significant enough. Okay. Now, when you went and saw him, did he also talk about, did he take a CBCT to observe your airway?
He did I don't know if it's called like that, like this, but he did an X-rays where you could see the airways if they are constricted or if they are compressed or something. Yeah.
What did it show initially?
Yeah, could have been more, but the major problem for me, it was the nose. My nose is very narrow, so it was not back here, but it was in my nose. I already had an operation to my nasal septum because of that, because earlier in my 20s I had chronic sinusitis, and only on one side because I couldn't get air on this side. And I already had my nasal septum corrected, so to get better, to being able to breathe better, but still, yeah.
It was still constricted after surgery.
Yeah, it's still not perfect. So when I easily get problem just breathing through my nose and getting enough air, but when I'm sleeping or stuff, then it's fine. It's enough to. Yeah.
So when you, after the AGGA and controlled arch braces, did you notice that your nasal passage was greater, or did you not notice any significant changes?
No, I don't think I noticed anything significant. I think the main problem for me is up here, which was not affected by the treatment.
Okay, well, that's good to know too. Okay, CBCT was taken. Let's see. I always try to think about the questions that people ask me. Did people think it was weird when you were going through this treatment? Did you have a lot of people ask you what you were doing? Or I remember people were like, what is that in your mouth when I had the AGGA? Because it's not a very common appliance.
I think most people didn't notice the appliance, but they noticed that my face shape changed. And in the end of AGGA, I really looked weird, and they would say I look sick or something like that. And since I have a YouTube channel and doing videos regularly, I was getting worse, you know. And people do comments like that I look sick or something like that.
Really? That's so interesting. Why would they say you look worse? I would think that your face changed for the better.
Yeah, in the end, but not in the end of AGGA. AGGA just shifts your front teeth and
palate.
Those teeth forward, and the face becomes more like this. And it makes you look like this.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so it's not
so pretty.
Yeah. Did you ever notice that people in your family and friends noticed, like, if you didn't see them from beginning to end of treatment, would they say, I always get questions like, what changed? Everyone wants to know if I lost weight. I'm like, no, actually I gained weight, but my face has changed shape almost. Have you noticed that?
I have noticed that my face has changed a bit, but I think most people don't look this closely at me. So. Okay.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Some even didn't notice my braces or didn't notice that they were that they had come out. So some people just don't look at you
that closely. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, let's see what else. I think that covers it all. How overall would you explain your experience? Was it a good experience, bad experience? Were you pleased with the results? Would you do it again?
I would do it again because I was suffering so badly. Yeah, everything was better than just continuing. And I knew if I had continued, I would have lost these teeth up there because of the constant pressure. And yeah, something had to be done. And I had waited many years, too many years. And yeah, it was a good decision to do it finally.
Yeah.
And now I hope we can just fix this small contact that's still bothering me, and otherwise, yeah. I'm still not so happy with my upper retainer, because when I sleep with it at night, I bite on it on this side. And yeah, that's not perfect. I already tried to file it down so I don't bite on it, but it's not perfect yet. So there's still could be some.
It's a work in progress. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all work in progress. But it's fine. When I only sleep with a lower retainer, it's perfect.
Yeah. Okay. So moving forward with your children, how many kids do you have?
I have 9 kids now.
9. That's amazing. Are you implementing things to help set them up for long, ideal development?
Yeah, I improved my diet as good as I can. And I also see that the younger kids, they are better off than my older kids, where I had no idea about anything. So my second son is still in controlled arch. He started with the removable AGGA. He's 11 now. And now he only has the arches in, so no braces out there, but the arches in. And yeah, because he also started getting problems with tensions and headache and this stuff.
How old is he?
He's 11 now.
So your 11-year-old, how old was he when he did the AGGA, the removable?
8 or 9.
Wow. Okay. And he's in controlled arch. Well, he has the lingual FR.
Yeah. He has the lingual arch now.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So he's your second. What about your first one?
He's fine. He doesn't have the problems. I think I did some experiment with my diet, and when I was pregnant with him, I ate raw oats, and I thought it was a good idea, but it was not, because it takes if you don't heat the grains, especially oats, it robs you of the minerals, and so his midface is underdeveloped. And in this period, I also got big cavities in my teeth, so it was not a good idea to eat raw oats.
Wow.
Yeah, but I tried to eat more healthy, and this was one of the experiments that didn't go so well.
Okay.
Yeah. And
awesome.
that's why his mid face is too small. And yeah.
Okay.
But the kids after that, I quit the raw oats, and the kids after that, they don't have this problem.
Very
My
interesting.
my oldest, she would also need the AGGA treatment, but she's also autistic, and she's not yet ready to. She's 15, and
Okay.
she's not yet ready to do any treatment, but she would need it because she has allergies too, and that's why her upper arch is too small, and all the problems that follow.
Yeah.
When she eats, it's like it makes noise because of the joint that is stressed.
Yeah.
So there's still work to do, but my younger kids, they are fine because I knew more what I know now.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever use like pacifiers, or were they thumb suckers, or like the functional therapy things, side of things? Obviously, that tongue being trained to be on the roof of the mouth is so crucial for development in young children. And I feel like all these interventive things that our society loves to push on us, like pacifiers or those little sucky Nutri pouches and straws or sippy cups, all of that kind of stuff really encourages.
I didn't have much of this. So I used pacifiers a little bit in the first 6 months, but then they all didn't want it anymore. So and those kids who are no mouth breathers, they are fine. Yep. But those, so I always look at this that they have their mouth closed when they sleep, and that's when huge. They do, then I'm fine. Then I don't worry.
Nasal breathing, you're breathing through your nose and your mouth is together, the majority of the time. That's such a thing that I want to scream from the rooftops to all of these moms, all of these new moms. It's like, watch these kids' mouths, because people don't pay attention to it and they have no idea. So that's huge. Yeah. You've learned a lot. So you've been able to apply a lot to your younger kids, which is awesome. I applaud you for that. Very cool. Well, anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I think it's cool that you start so early and know all these things before you have kids. I would have loved to know all this stuff and not learn it the hard way,
Yeah, I totally understand. What's your YouTube page, in case people want to look it up and look up your journey? Because you documented your journey, right?
Yeah, it's a German word, Zahngeschichten. ZAHNGESCHTEN.
Okay, I'm gonna tag you like below in the description so that people can follow you if they would like to watch your journey, from when you documented it. I think a lot of people are probably looking for some of this stuff. So the more resources I can provide, just the more people will be able to help.
Yeah, they can also contact me if they want to. I'm on Facebook and on Instagram and yeah.
Okay, cool. I will definitely link your stuff below. Instagram. Thank you so much for being willing to share your story and take the time out of your day. I know you had a long one, I'm sure, and to come on here. And I'm just excited to be able to start sharing some of these stories with people.
Yes, thank you for having me.